Okay, it's Friday night and I am doing a skull candle for someone. Uh, Basically, this is a love matter, but I chose a white candle. There is a little bit of pink in this. I make these myself, so I put together a few different colors. It's mainly white, but I put some uh, pink through it because I wanted to represent, all aspects of love. And to be honest with you, colors don't really matter. I think at the end of the day, if you have a representation of a head, I mean, even a small doll's head is fine. But in this occasion, I'm using the skull candle, and I have the person's name uh, all around this candle. I've etched in his name, and I've put the name of the female across the front of the forehead so that he's thinking about her. So I etched her first and second name into that front bit. I also etched in think of me, dream of me, and a little sigil, or where is it? The little Venus symbols, should I say, is on that as well. So there we go. What I'm going to do is give you a brief rundown of what I do. So I have rubbed some oils into this. I will rub a few more. Let's see. What have we got? So I want to put a little bit of control oil just over it. Not too much, just a little bit. And always say into yourself what you want. So I'm saying unto myself that he will think of the client. He will dream of the client. It's all about the client. As I'm rubbing in the oils. What else have I got? This is a mixture of Come to Me, Follow Me Boy, and a little bit of honey. I mix it together and put it in a little bottle. Okay, let's see. It's just a little bit of it's like a commitment oil that I make. We want to get some rush powder. No, rush oil. So if you can get your hands on these, use the red one for speed. You don't need too much. This is not necessary. You could use coffee. Coffee is fine. A little bit of eye bright. Doesn't want to come out. A little bit of orris root. Again, orris root is very good for it's very good for controlling people, especially in cases of a woman wanting to control a man. Orris root is very good for that. Let's see. This is a mix of cinnamon and ginger together. Again, that's good for lust. You could use catnip. I like cinnamon ginger together. I really like that mix. I have space as usual. St. Expedite oil. Again, for speed. And some convince oil. You don't have to use whatever oils you have at hand. I have these, so I use these. You just use whatever you have. So what happens now is turn it this way, and that is sugar, and that is flowers around that. Those are flowers, some flowers and some bits of rose petal. they were flowers that were on my holy death altar. So it's just to let you know, that's brown sugar as well. It was on her altar. And I like to use that, incorporate that into my spells because it has her essence. With regards to I was using her red robe, so it has her essence. If that makes sense to you, I need to go into a longer video with regards to Saint Death and her aspects, and what they all stand for, etc. So that will happen. Okay, so now baptism. You can baptize these candles like a Catholic or Christian, whatever you want to call it, baptism. I could take this into my hands and even use holy water, even just blessed spring water, whatever you have. I would like you to use spring water. It's because it's pure, or even Florida water, and put it in your hand. And what I do is I cup this in my right hand and I put the water like so, but I don't say the Catholic baptism because it doesn't resonate with me. You could do the Catholic, I name you whatever, but what I do is I get some blessed water. It's normally blessed water or Florida water, and I will put this over the candle and I say, I now name you, let's say John Doe. You now are the head of John Doe. I call down the mind, body, and soul of John Doe, and you will represent John Doe, and whatever I tell you to do, you will do. And so it is done. Something along those lines is fine. But I put some Florida water on the candle. I always do it that way. I never do it the other way. But another thing I should mention is, because this is him, the target, I've put a tiny little hole in the base of this candle, and I pushed it tiny, very, very small, because it's a fire hazard. Common sense would tell you it's a fire hazard if you put anything bigger than a tiny photograph or name paper or signature or DNA or whatever you've got. It's a fire hazard. So just a small piece of paper or whatever it is you've got, if it's handwriting, fingernails, hair, very good. Just make a tiny little hole and push it in, and that'll be fine. That will work a lot better if you've got like a subject link, so to speak. Right, so what I do now is I light the candle up, and you're going to get a glare. Sorry, I really prefer matches to these ghastly lighters. But anyway, I have some incense lit. Again, I would normally use cigar smoke. To me, it tastes a lot better than cigarette smoke. I do not like cigarette smoke, but if I'm stuck, I'll use cigarette smoke. And I'm not fussed on incense, but because I don't have any cigars at the moment, I'm using incense. It does the job, 100%. Why? This is a smoke screen, and this will also carry the thoughts, the suggestions into the astral, and they will find the subject, the target, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is, I hope my smoke alarms don't go off, actually. I've got a lot of smoke going on here. So what I do is, let's say John Doe wants to be reunited with Jane Doe. So what I'll do is I will say, John Doe, you will think and turn clockwise. John Doe, you will think about Jane Doe. She's on your mind all the time. Every moment of every waking day, you will be thinking about Jane Doe. She's in your dreams. You miss her. You wonder what she's doing. You start to check. You try to catch up with her. It's time that you make a phone call. It's time you make communication. It's time you communicate. Come back to her. Make that phone call. Write that email. Think of her non-stop. She's on your mind non-stop. You will think of her. So you get the gist of it. So this is for a client. So I will be saying this. I will be saying things similar to this, but obviously, I can't say names, etc. So I can only give you an example of what I'm saying. I think I need to move this for one moment. So, yeah. So what you need to do is sit with this candle for about 10 to 15 minutes, whatever you can handle, every night or every few nights, whatever suits you. And focus for about 10, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes, and you make your little suggestions and you go around in a clockwise fashion and say whatever you need to say, but be when you're making suggestions to the skull candle, be very precise as to what you say. You will think of me. You are thinking about me. Things like that. I prefer you are thinking about me. I'm on your mind. I am all you think about. You are having dreams about me. You're starting to wonder about me. You're looking me up on social media, in the present tense, because that will draw the situation to you a lot quicker. Every email I write, I always tell the client, to think of your life, what it will be like, down the line, in the future, and live it now, plan it out and stuff like that. But anyway, getting back to this, do that for 10, 15 minutes, snuff your candle out, and go about your business, and then come back to it and light it and do it again. Like I say, if you can only handle 5 minutes, just do 5 minutes. If your concentration breaks after 5 minutes, that's okay. Do it again the next night for 5 minutes. But push your intention into the candle with those affirmations, those positive affirmations. Go a step ahead and visualize yourself with the person. See yourself right in front of that person, and tell the person, command it. I hope I'm making sense. That is exactly what skull work is about. It's about pushing your intent into the mind of someone else. Now, I need to say this. I do this in the wee hours, so I do, because the target will be asleep and the defenses are down, so it's much better to do it when the target is sleeping, and you can slip these affirmations, not affirmations, suggestions, should I say, in, and they're much more likely to be accepted. I only do this for so many people because I only have so much time, if that makes sense. I only have so much time to do, because, should I say, because some of my clients are from, say, the United States, then I have to, work out my time frame, because I'm in Ireland, so United States, and then I have to get the times of when the person will be sleeping, and I have to, coincide it with that. So there's only so many of these I actually take on, if that makes sense. I don't offer this service to, everyone, but it's very effective. Like I said, you don't need a skull candle, even a doll's head or a drawing or a photograph, anything that has the head. Don't put the picture of the female, or don't put the picture under the candle, because it doesn't represent the female or the target, or whatever you want to say. Not the target, sorry, I'm starting to talk in riddles. Don't put the photograph of the client, the actual person that's getting the spell done. You don't want to put your picture underneath the candle, because this doesn't represent you, this represents them. So you put their picture underneath the candle, or inside, preferably inside the candle, small photograph. What else was I going to say? Yeah, a little petition can go underneath the candle or underneath the plate. Just be careful of fire. I'm always saying that. Be careful candles are dangerous things, so they are. But like I say, what I'm going to be doing is burning that right down. It'll probably take over maybe a weekish. I'm not sure. Don't know. It'll, and what I do is, I should say as well, I burn little helper lights beside it. So I'll be burning a blue one that is for healing the situation, a pink one for the lust aspect, and purple for dominance. So they will go like so, and I will be burning them beside it. So I'll be dressing those in oils, but you don't have to do that. I just like to do that. It looks good. That's why I do it, and doesn't particularly give it any more power, But at the end of the day, it's how you work the main candle is where, and your willpower is the main thing with these kind of spells. It's also a spell involving Haggith. Haggith, I've said before, was a spirit, Venusian spirit. You can read more about Haggith in the Arbitol of Magic. I need to put links in the description bar of this. A great spirit for, like I've said before, beauty work, and love and attraction and all those things. So the client is actually, I'll just pop that to the side. The client is actually getting some further work done with regards to, just her image and things like that. So also, I'm going to build up a little honey jar with regards to the issue. So I have the 2 pictures, and I put honey and come to me oil, follow me boy oil in between and on the pictures, if that makes sense. That's my little petition that will go like that, and I'm just going to pop them in there. So I made a petition to Haggith. I'm using this. So if anyone is going to do this and you're a beginner, I would advise you to do it with your own willpower. You don't need to call a spirit in for this. I do call spirits because I think that they add more oomph to the spell. But, you could do this without that and see what happens, see how you get on. It's certainly not impossible. So anyway, I'm just going to pop some honey in this little jar. So this is to bring her and him together, warm up the situation, sweeten it up. What was I going to say? So when calling Haggith, you need to call in the hour of Venus on a Friday. So if you have a mobile phone that has apps on it, you can find apps that tell you. Sorry, I am really trying to focus on this and talk, so I need to stop for a moment. You can put an app on your phone that tells you all the planetary hours, so that is good. Brown sugar. But like I said, this spirit can be called with, you can call the spirit, you could call Venus herself. There's many spirits to do with love. Let me see. There's the Goetia. I like to call on Amon. I like to call on Celos is a good spirit for love or reconciliation. Even Sid and Expedite. So I'm putting in a little bit of orris root in there. Because it's a little love mix of herbs with catnip and eyebright. I'm not sure what else, but I can find out. I'm going to put a little bit of rush oil, a little bit of control oil, so we want to control him to come around the idea of, being open to this lady and pushing things a step forward in the right direction. Let's see. This is a tiny little bag I have. I mixed this up a while ago. It's an evil eye mix, so it's really good for keeping the evil eye away. And I should say that the evil eye is one of the most, well, yeah, it's one of the most common things that can wreck a relationship is the evil eye. Just plain old jealousy. You know, friends can sit with smiles, but they can be so jealous of you, and that can truly go against your relationship and things like that. Just to let people know that the evil eye, I see it quite often, and it is, best friends who claim to be best friends, and they're really hating on you behind your back. But anyway, I'm digressing. Some of those flyers that were on the Holy Death Soldier. Okay. And a little bit more Follow Me Boy oil. Okay. So what I'm going to do is burn a little pink candle on this, and I'm going to set it beside this little candle. So I'm just going to bring some energy into this. I blow into it 3 times. Okay. Bizarre lid, but anyway, not to worry, just a tiny shake. I don't shake, I've said before, I don't shake honey jars. Just when I make the honey jar initially, I would shake it, but I don't make a point of shaking honey jars because I think it disrupts them, and I want everything to be nice and calm. I don't need anything to be disrupted, so I don't shake honey jars. But again, everyone is different. So I'm going to light a little pink chime candle on top of this. So yeah, this is you probably can't really see that, but anyway, so that is the finished spell. Well, it's finished and it's not finished. When I work on the skull candle each night, I'll just take that off and just get the little candle and make my suggestions. You will think about me, you will call me. For the client, I'll be doing, you think of her, she's the one you want. It's only her and no one else. She's in your dreams. It's only her, she's the only one. Things like that. I don't want to go into too many details because it's quite private to the client. But yeah, so that's skull candles 101. I don't know if I've left anything out. When I finish with it, I normally take it to, I have a very old tree on property, and I would leave candle bits and pieces of candles at the bottom, the base of that tree. If you can't get to a tree or whatever, if you have a potted plant, put it into your potted plant. Stay out of graveyards with love work. I've got a few messages, and I find it very strange, where someone was going to bury a honey jar. A few people actually was going to bury honey jars in the graveyard, and I don't know where they heard that one at, but no, no. If you're starting out in magic, no. I understand that there are, relatives that you have that are buried and stuff, but no, I would keep death energy away, death essence away from any love work and stuff. Keep the two things separate, if that makes sense. I really don't know why anyone would do that, but I don't know. People are strange. But anyway, so I'll be putting that on top of that whilst I work on this candle. And like I said, the spirit is very good for the spirit is really good for love. Also, like I said, beauty, glamour. I do a lot of glamour spells with Haggith, and there's one was uploaded quite recently. Yeah, so beauty, makeup, things like that, just changing your appearance and, breaking old habits, and moving on and things like that. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, what was I going to say? Like, share, and subscribe. It's thehouseofmagick@gmail.com.